The disconnected voice you hear is that of John Soule from Guerilla Educators. We're here on location with the architect Scott Kelly in Coatesville, Pennsylvania on a chilly December morning.
Beautiful morning with snow.
Scott just received the prestigious Young Architects Award from the Philadelphia chapter of the American Institute of Architects, and we're standing in front of one of Scott's signature architectural pieces. So, good morning, Scott.
Good morning.
Why Scott Kelly? Why now?
Well, I think I was given the honor of winning this award because of some of the work of our firm in green building and sustainable design. And this building is actually a really, really good example of that. Some of what you see behind you and what you see I'm standing next to is a piece of straw bale. Not hay, but actual straw. Part of this building is actually made with straw bale construction. And this was done essentially because it is an extremely environmentally responsible way to make buildings. It sounds unusual, but some of the walls you see behind you are actually stacks of straw bale, stacked one on top of another, and then coated in 2 inches of stucco, which gives it about a 2-hour fire rating. The benefit of the straw bale wall is we've got an extremely energy efficient envelope rather than an R12 or 13 you might find in typical construction. We now have close to an R50. Not only that, instead of getting the material from China or California and shipping it all the way across the US, this straw bale came from less than 10 miles away from the site, which also supports our local economy.
What do you mean it came from 10 miles away?
Literally, Farmer Cliff, around the corner from here, who's a local farmer, grew the straw. Aerzen USA, the parent company or the company here, purchased the straw from them and provided it to the site for the contractor to then install. The contractor installs it, coats it in a plaster and a stucco. A lot of the material in that plaster and stucco actually came from our site. We had some clay soils on the site, which can be a little bit of a problem. So we essentially dug them up, used them to make part of that plaster wall. We took a lot of time and care to make sure that things like our siding material behind us comes from about 100 miles away, very, very close. The roofing material, 120 miles away. So the majority of the products used in this building actually support our local economy here. And that's a big part of sustainability and a big goal of our firm.
So I would assume that this will get a very high LEED rating.
Yeah, we expect at least a gold on it, a gold LEED certification. Typically, we as a firm, we want gold and platinum and above. The biggest challenge is we are a little bit outside of urban infrastructure. Otherwise, the building probably would easily be a platinum.
Well, you talked about your firm, Scott, Revision Architecture. Tell us a little bit about Revision.
Okay. We're a smaller, medium-sized firm. There's about 12 or 13 of us. We only work on one type of building, and that are buildings that are green, and they tend to be cutting-edge, higher-level green buildings. Everything we do is environmentally responsible, socially responsible, even our business practices. We're not a typical for-profit company. We run ourselves a lot like a nonprofit. We're actually a for-benefit corporation, and that's reflected in everything we do. The work that we do, the way that we run our company, and the environmental impact of our company itself.
Is something happening? Is the culture changing in terms of how the environment is built?
People in the building profession are becoming so much more conscious of how much environmental impact we have and how much environmental impact our buildings have. So there's been a tremendous effort over the last year or two to understand this issue, understand our impact, and begin to change our design process, our construction process, everything. It's going to take a little bit of time, but we are well on our way to being much more environmentally responsible as a culture.
The fact that you received the Young Architects Award indicates that maybe things are changing exponentially now.
I would say 5 years ago it was much harder for us to do this. And in the last, I would say, year, it's gotten much easier for us to do this.
Okay, well,
so things are exponentially changing upward, which is great.
Well, let's take a look at the building, because you've spoken about a lot of different elements of sustainability, and this building could probably be a three-dimensional textbook of that.
Hopefully it is. So I think the first place to start is really to look down. And what we're standing on is porous asphalt. What this will basically lets happen is, instead of water hitting the asphalt and running directly off into a stream, it actually passes through this asphalt. Think of the asphalt like Rice Krispies, and then infiltrates back into our water table. So we're doing everything we can to keep our stormwater on site. So we've got areas of rain gardens. You see the beginning of the plantings done here. The rest of the plantings won't be done until the spring.
Rain gardens meaning that they will not have great need for irrigation?
They have zero need for irrigation. That's the goal. In fact, what they're going to do is they're going to filter our stormwater to keep it clean before it does go back into the aquifer. And what we're trying to do here is reflect the culture of the company, and part of the belief of the culture of the company is to really make sure that the people inside of the building are healthy, comfortable, productive, and are in an environment that supports their work. So the building is completely daylit. The form of the building is not essentially a box, rectilinear box. The form itself breaks up a lot. This gave us a lot of advantages for passive solar design, and we are following nature a little bit in its form. You'll notice trees don't grow in rows as we tend to plant them, and you'll see all the plantings around here aren't usually in rows, and the building itself is not totally linear.
I see.
Do you want to go look at some earth tubes?
Sure!
We're not going to be using traditional grass here. In the spring, what will happen is the entire site gets planted with a meadow. So as people inside of the building are looking out from their work environment, they're looking at this beautiful wildflower meadow.
I see.
And
So
better for stormwater, it'll provide habitat.
And it won't need mowing.
No, that's right. Where our geothermal wells are. These wells are essentially providing some of the heating and cooling for the office part of the building. We don't see them. They're buried beneath the ground, but what happens is a heat exchanger exchanges the heat or the temperature inside of the earth with temperature inside of the building, and we get a very environmentally responsible way to make heating and cooling. All right, so over there we see a rain barrel, which is harvesting some of the water off the roof, so Aerzen can use it to water plants when they need it. The majority of the water from the roof is actually going beneath the ground and into some infiltration beds beneath the parking lot. So the goal here is to make sure that we've got really no water runoff from the site, either causing erosion or flooding downstream. So this part of the building, the industrial side, is all made out of SIP, structurally insulated panels. They're basically coated in metal with about 6 inches of insulation in between, which means we have an R value of about 42. It's incredibly energy efficient and makes sure that the people inside of the building are comfortable in their work environment. That's very important.
You talk a lot about comfort with this building, so it's not just a zero carbon footprint per se. It's
right. If people aren't comfortable, they're not going to be happy. And if buildings aren't beautiful, they're going to tear them down, and it makes it not sustainable. So what we're looking at is the intake to our earth tube. And what this is doing is letting fresh air go in here beneath the ground, either get hotter or cooler depending on the season, and then that fresh air goes into the building to provide a lot of fresh air for people inside. It's a very innovative way to not burn fossil fuels to temper the air before we breathe it.
And there's not really a great deal of moving parts, or?
There's practically none. On a good day, you'll be able to open the windows on the top of the building. Heat will rise through there in the summertime, and in that heat rising, it'll actually suck cool air or hotter air into the earth, cooling it off, and then bringing it into the building. No fossil fuel air conditioning.
This looks like a work of art, Scott. Can you talk to this?
I can. This is.
Where are we, first of all?
We're in the vestibule to the entrance of the building here, and this is referred to often as a truth window, meaning we are showing the actual construction behind of this wall. We see the plaster that actually came from the site here. We see wood that matches all the wood in the rest of the building, and then inside we see the straw bale wall.
So it's not a priceless piece of postmodern art?
No, it's not a right. We got really lucky with this. This is, straw bale construction is half art, half science. You need to get the technical details right, but then there's this, the art of the application and how it's put on. And it's very hard to specify because it's a very natural material. You can't be so selective with color. You have to understand what you're getting, which is often coming right from your side. Juan is chowing some of the plaster on right now, so he's smoothing it out before he puts on his final coat. This is the plaster that's been screened out. So you take it from the site, you run it over something to make sure you get it in big chunks out, and then you can take it and put it on your wall.
Simple, quick, and easy. It's like baking a cake.
Yes. Techniques. Rather than using about 2.2 gallons per minute for to wash your hands, where you really don't need that much water, we're using about 0.5 gallons, and it's plenty to be able to get this plaster off my hands. Not only are you saving water, but you're also saving a lot of energy with that. As we go over here, we're looking at a waterless urinal. So what first thing you'll notice on the top is there's no flush valve, just a label. And as you look in the bowl, I like to call these the P with the B model, because you get to pee on the B. As you look down, you see the trap in the bottom. That has oil in it rather than having water in it. And since urine floats on, or oil floats on urine, you always keep the gas seal, but you use no water on a waterless urinal. So a waterless urinal like this might save about 40,000 gallons a year of water. What we see here is we're looking at the manufacturing side of the plant. And me being an office worker, or if I am an office worker, what I get is a very strong connection with what's happening out there. There's not the typical wall you can't see through. You understand what's happening out there. The people out there understand what's happening behind us in the office center.
So it gives you a context. It keeps you connected with actually
people,
the purpose of your work.
These guys are here because of them. Those guys are here because of these people. So although we're in the office part of the manufacturing facility, what you see is you have a view from almost everywhere inside of this building to the outside. You understand what the weather is. You can see nature. You can see clear story windows up high. On a not so cloudy day, you would see that there is no need for electric lighting in this part of the building at all. It's completely naturally daylit, and you've got phenomenal view. And so you'll be looking out in a native meadow situation.
Now this is the actual manufacturing area?
Yeah. Before the cranes go in, you can see a couple unusual things here. First, the very large fans in the ceiling. What that's doing is if depending on the temperature in the building, it's either bringing the air we want at the top of the building down, or it's providing ventilation or air movement across people's bodies to keep them cool. So we're doing some other things like some of the natural ventilation with these windows that are all operable on both sides of the building. These large fans and those earth tubes that you saw outside.
I see.
We've got fresh air that is coming in directly from the outside into the ground, going closer to the temperature of the ground before it comes into the building. So these louvers are essentially providing more than the fresh air that we're supposed to, that we need in here by code, but plenty of fresh air to keep people productive, happy, and healthy.
That air feels really good coming in there, and that's just being regulated by those tubes you showed me outside.
That's right. So regarding these earth tubes, this is probably one of the first industrial applications here in the U.S. So we're very happy about that. The other first of the building is this is the first commercial installation of straw bale in Pennsylvania. So we're very, very proud of it.
And well, you should be. Well, you've actually given the world a thumbnail sketch of not only what sustainability is, but why it's so important. Yeah. And I think we now know why Scott Kelly. Why now?
Yeah.
Congratulations, Scott, and
thanks,
thank you very much.